There are two major updates from Iran that you need to know about. First, the Islamic Republic is now broadcasting gun training on state TV to pro-regime Iranians. Second, the Islamic Republic, right after this, I thought that was crazy, but then right after this, we got videos showing that the Islamic Republic is now training men, women, and children with guns and RPGs in mosques. My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic Republic inside Iran and outside of Iran. Pro-regime Iranians are being trained how to use RPGs against a civilian population in mosques, including children. They're arming children with guns and RPGs against the Iranian population trying to resist the upcoming uprising. This is not normal, even by Islamic Republic standards, and I'll tell you what this means. The regime is not only training the pro-regime Iranians on how to use guns, they're basically preparing the groundwork to arm the pro-regime Iranians against the uprising, against the vast majority of anti-regime Iranians. Before I explain what this means, let me first explain that this happened suddenly. We didn't have this on state TV, and then when it started happening, it just happened a lot. This was not something that the state TV in the Islamic Republic was broadcasting, and then when they started, there were multiple different programs doing the same thing by different hosts and in different ways, which suggests that something happened. They must have received some sort of an information or data that something is about to happen. By the way, you could see in these programs that they go over how to use an AK-47, the Kalashnikov, and they go over the details, and they actually use it live on air in their studio, and they shoot the gun. You have a soldier there explaining to the host how to use the gun, and then in one of the shows, the host actually picks up the gun and shoots at the UAE flag live on air in the studio. There was also this segment with a woman as the host talking about the gun that was sent to her from Van Eyck Square, which apparently was the place where they were giving out these guns. And she was talking about how she's proud on being trained on this and being ready to sacrifice her life and all of that. And there's a whole bunch of other programs and this narrative of, oh, we're going to get trained. Everybody needs to get trained. Men, women, and children need to learn how to use guns. And I'm thinking eventually this is going to be followed up with more instructions on how to get these guns. Where are they going to be handing them over? What the vetting process is. Or it also could be that they are not going to get guns on such a vast scale. Maybe it's just propaganda just to scare the anti-regime Iranians, thinking that, oh, there's going to be pro-regime Iranians with guns in the street. Maybe this is just a scare tactic. But regardless of what they're going to do, whether they are going to give out these guns or not, or just maybe it's just a scare tactic against the anti-regime Iranians, this gives us a lot of information regarding what the Islamic Republic is thinking and what the data that they have access to is showing them. First, it shows that the Islamic Republic has information that makes it believe that an uprising is imminent. Actions like this gives us information regarding what the regime's internal intelligence shows. And remember, they have access to certain data that the rest of us don't. So their actions indicate what those intelligence suggest. By rushing into arming the pro-regime Iranian people, or at least putting the propaganda out there that this is going to be the case to use fear as a tactic, it basically suggests that they think an uprising is rapidly approaching. But that's not the only thing. It also suggests that they know that they cannot suppress an uprising, that their official forces have been severely weakened. The joint military operations by United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic, taking out the IRGC bases, taking out the Basij bases, taking out a lot of checkpoints, assassinating a whole bunch of the IRGC leaders and many people specifically in charge of suppressing the Iranian people, including the head of Basij. And on top of that, the economic pressure on the Islamic Republic with the naval blockade on Iranian ports and Operation Economic Fury and closing down all the financial loopholes of the Islamic Republic, trying to get revenue in one way or another by Scott Bessent. All of this have had the effect that the suppressing power of the Islamic Republic, of its people, has been severely damaged. And not only that, a lot of this has caused defections from the regime. There are many people within the IRGC or Basij or the police or the Artesh that are not showing up for work or not following orders, even if they do show up for work. So this suggests that all of that has been effective, because remember, we see what the Americans and Israelis are doing, but we can never be sure about the effect of it unless we get information like this from the Islamic Republic showing their hand and showing whether or not it has been successful or not. And the fact that the Islamic Republic is panicking to the degree that is resorting to such desperate measures to either scare the Iranian people to not come to an uprising or trying to rely on its civilian supporters to suppress the Iranian people shows that its own security apparatus has been severely damaged. Many people might wonder, if they're putting this training on state TV, what stops the anti-regime Iranian people to watch it and also get trained by it? The thing is that that's true, and it shows how desperate the Islamic Republic is. And the answer is that they might be relying on the fact that they're only going to be arming the pro-regime Iranians, and the anti-regime Iranians will not get access to that. Or if this is just a scare tactic, there's going to be a lot of pro-regime Iranians with guns waiting for them as a scare tactic. And I don't think that works. But if the plan is that, okay, yes, everybody could get the training because it's on state TV right now, but we're going to be arming only our people, the pro-regime people, then some people were saying, then if that's the plan, what stops the anti-regime Iranians to just go act like jihadis and go pick up some guns wherever they are handing out these guns? Again, I don't know what the vetting process is going to be, but it might be based on people who know each other, people who have a history of being pro-regime friends and families, and people who've been showing up to mosques, and they have a history of doing Haydar, and maybe it's going to be based on that. People that are known to be pro-regime will get the guns. But then this got escalated even more, because when we saw these videos, we were shocked about how desperate the Islamic Republic is right now and how scared they must be. But then the videos came out of the regime actually going into mosques and training people with AK-47s and RPGs and training men, women, and children inside the mosques. So mosques are being used as military training centers for men, women, and children with guns and RPGs, which makes these mosques a legitimate military target. It's a good reminder that many people outside of Iran were attacking Iranian protesters for being too radical because they burned down mosques. And we were telling you back then that these mosques are not just areas for worship. These are military centers. These are places where the Iranian people were being shot at. These were operation centers for Basijis, for them to organize and mobilize their forces against the Iranian people. So the Iranian people had every right to attack these mosques. But now they're going even further. Now they're turning these mosques not to just bases of military operations, but also training centers for suppressing the Iranian people, for killing, for massacring the Iranian people, using children. Fortunately, I don't think that these people being trained in these mosques are going to be very effective, but we can't take a chance. It's really important for the anti-regime Iranians to get armed and trained as well to be able to defend themselves against this. I just want you to keep this in mind and maybe send this video to anybody who accuses the Iranian people of being too radical. If in the future uprisings you see any mosques being attacked or burned down, just let them know that the Iranian people are justified to do this. By the way, we already have a lot of anti-Islam hate inside Iran, and mosques being used as a base of operation to massacre the Iranian people is going to just keep adding to that hate. I think the Islamic Republic has managed to make more people leave Islam than any entity or group of people or organization ever has. But beyond that, people in Iran haven't just left Islam. People in Iran, because of what the Islamic Republic does and how it uses Islam and Islamic centers to do that to the Iranian people, have not only left Islam, but have now become the greatest haters of Islam. And I don't think you won't find anywhere in the world more hatred for Islam than inside Iran. This is why so many people look at the Iranian people and their views and they think they are too radical or too extreme sometimes. But honestly, I think that given their experience, a lot of their feelings are justified. So please share this video so that more people could understand what the Iranian people are experiencing and what we need to do to help them, and why a lot of their reactions, not just to the Islamic regime, but to Islam, is justified. If you want to talk to me about this in more detail, ask me questions, disagree with me, agree with me, come talk to me in our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. There are a lot of other interesting people there that talk about politics on a daily basis, about all things politics, not just Iran, Islam, or the Middle East, just politics in general. The link is in the description and or the bio. And also you can scan the QR code on the screen right now. That will take you there as well. Leave me a comment telling me if this was helpful, if it was educational. Comments like that really motivate me to make more videos like this. Also remember, YouTube's algorithm doesn't like topics like this, so liking and subscribing and sharing really helps undo the negative effect that the YouTube algorithm has. My name is Armin Navabi. I'm Israel Chai. Long live America. Javid Shah. Payande Iran.